You know, I'm getting really tired of this argument popping up as often as it does because it is just completely and totally stupid, and I've never understood the point of it other than, well, just to feel good and make a good old I feel better about myself kind of point. Now, in case you aren't aware of what I might be talking about, especially with that title, it is about David Cage's newest game, and I use that term rather loosely, uh, Detroit Become Human. The newest trailer for it came out, and there were several articles detailing how, well, this is the greatest catastrophe to face all mankind. This is morally reprehensible. We must stop this at once. It is a demon plaguing the land, and other such scare tactics. I don't know what else to call them. In the trailer, they showed multiple outcomes, depending on what you did, of a scene in which a child was beaten up to death, or in which you, as the android, shot and killed the father to protect the child. And of course, this was seen as really bad because, and I'm going to quote this verbatim, so I'm not taking out of context here. It is completely wrong for domestic violence to be part of a video game, regardless of what the motivation is. Once again, we have a regardless of context argument, which I will never understand. Never. Because, well, let me break that down. Let me give you the flow chart of how that kind of argument works. Okay, so it's bad to have it regardless of context. Okay, so then can't have it in video games, can't have it in movies, can't have it on TV, can't have it in books. Oh, hey, you know those child advocacy groups that you're a part of? They sometimes detail domestic violence, or in the on commercials, or in the pamphlets, they'll have information about what domestic violence is. You can't have that. And remember, regardless of context, you can't have domestic violence shown. Ta-da! You get the point, right? It's not a regardless of context argument. It's a, well, I'm trying to find a way to fit it into this situation so that I feel better about myself kind of bullshit argument. If you've been watching me for a while now, you know that I actually do care about what happens to children. I am very much the stereotype of, won't someone please think of the children? Except I actually do give a shit about kids. Whereas the people that typically use that argument use kids as a tool to get what they want. They don't give a shit about how kids feel. They want to get rid of something or to change something, and they're using children as a weapon to try and bludgeon that home. Whereas me, I do give a shit. And you know what? There are going to be so few kids that play this, it will be negligible at best. And if there are kids that play an M-rated game, that's on the fucking parent, not the company that made the game. If that's the case, then cigarettes need to be outlawed everywhere right now, because kids can get their hands on cigarettes even though they're not legally supposed to. Whether you agree that cigarettes should be outlawed or not, that's another question. But here in this specific context, which is completely insane, it drives me around the bend every time this kind of bullshit is brought up. And I'm getting so sick and tired of it. What happened? 20 years ago, we could show kids getting killed in video games. I will bring up my classic standby again, Fallout 1 and 2. You could kill anything in that game. It was when Bethesda bought the distribution rights for Fallout 1 and 2 that they removed that. They actually patched Fallout 1 and 2 so that the children were invisible and you couldn't interact with them, but they could still steal your money. So they were even more annoying than they were in the original game. Good job, Bethesda. Thank God for modders who put it back in again. What happened? You, in this game, Detroit Become Human, you are an android! To my knowledge, there are currently no androids that exist. Well, in general, but let me take this a step further. No androids that exist that are sentient enough to realize, oh, hey, this is bad, I need to stop it. So, I don't get what the fucking problem here is. It's fiction. It's not real. It's not reality. This is not happening. This is not a documentary. What the fuck are you on about with this bull crap? I don't think I'll ever understand it. Especially because this is the kind of argument that I see all the time in relation to it. Which leads me to believe they have no valid argument, and they're just using some sort of emotional response. Well, stop it! Look, I'm just sick and tired of seeing this, seeing kids being used as tools to try and get your way. It's disgusting. Let kids be kids. If something happens to a kid, you can guarantee that I will be right in their corner trying to fight for them. But until then, shut up! Losing my mind over this, but I keep seeing it and it drives me up a wall. There's been Math Machine being the stereotype of the Christian woman stereotype of the 90s again, because that's what I'm really good at. Peace out.